Hello everyone. We are back today here with another video. How's everybody doing? So today we are going to be doing a video on Enduring Legacy. This is one of the, I would say, best weapons as far as the ultimate weapons go in the game. It's definitely a popular one. Definitely a really cool build that we're going to show off here today. As you can see in some of the background footage, it is definitely able to one-phase bosses solo. There's a few different characters you can use this with, so that's not as much of a problem as some of the other possible weapons. Here we have Glay. We're also going to show some footage with Valby, and yeah, it's going to be a really good time today. So let's get right into the build. Okay, so first of all, here today we're going to talk about the unique ability of Enduring Legacy. So let's get right over to it. So for our unique ability here, we have an ability called Craftsmanship. When you hit an enemy, it increases the status effect trigger rate. Unique ability here is called Quenching, is what applies to the target. Quenching does a few things. One, it gives less fire resistance to any boss that it's being hit with, and then the fire resistance per stat keeps increasing. So the reason this is important, because then it also burns, especially if you use any of the fire enhancement mods. And as you see that down there with Quenching, on hitting an enemy inflicted with burn, your firearm attack goes up 11%. So this is really, really useful, right? For everything that we're doing with any boss that has especially weakness to fire, literally just using the gun, shooting the boss will apply Quenching. And that just keeps bringing up your firearm attack and bringing down the boss's fire resist. So super, super useful. Next here, we are going to take a look at the builds, right? We got a couple things going on here. We're going to go over a bossing build and then a mobbing build that I have set up for you. So getting started here, let the screenshot roll through with the bossing build. Right, so here's how we're going to do this. As per most weapons in this game, the first big thing is we're trying to increase our firearm attack. As you see, we have a 93% increase on the base. Very high, nice DPS here. The way we're doing the firearm attack is action and reaction and rifling reinforcement. Both of these will always just boost your firearm attack. Awesome, easy. Next, we have our concentrations. So we have better concentration and concentration priority. Better concentration gives a firearm critical hit damage of plus 74.8%. This is obviously very useful because since this gun does have a high crit damage, we want to be boosting into all of that, right? So here, when you combine these two, yes, we have a reload time modifier of minus 30 for concentration, but the gun has 171 rounds in the magazine with this build, so it's not too much of an issue. Especially if soloing, you can usually one phase a boss, or if you have to reload, it's still not that big of a deal, especially in team-based gameplay. There's, always damage going out, right? Next here we have Better Insight. Better Insight is just increasing our critical hit rate. If our crit damage is at an almost 7 times multiplier, we want our crit rate to be high as well. That way we see those crits more often. Next here we have Fire Enhancement. Since we talked about with Craftsmanship for this weapon's unique ability, Fire Enhancement just adds fire attack equal to 30% of the firearm attack. So again, the higher our firearm attack is with mods like these, the better off Fire Enhancement's going to be. And again, this all stacks into bringing your firearm attack up more because you inflict burn and all of that with Craftsmanship. Next here we have Expand Weapon Charge. Again, since this weapon has a long reload time here of minus 30%, and it's already pretty long to begin with, considering it's a machine gun, Expand Weapon Charge is really nice. This expands the magazine by 49%, giving a total of 171 rounds in the magazine. If we take this off, we do lose 56 rounds, so it is definitely something really, really useful that we want to make sure is added on there at all times. Next here we have Sharp Precision. This thing always gets me. Sharp Precision Shot. All right. So this and Mental Focus are fairly interchangeable for a lot of people. I'm going to talk about here why I think Sharp Precision is just a little bit better. So grabbing Mental Focus here is a comparison, right? This brings our fire rate down by 10%. When firing a firearm attack, goes up by 0.25% for 2 seconds, up to 150 stacks. Considering this gun has 171 rounds, you are always going to see the max by the end of it. But, again, that's maybe for 20 rounds, right? On Glay, this can be a little more acceptable to be using this mod. But on any other character, I would really say Sharp Precision goes a little bit better, right? This one is fire rate minus 20, but while pulling the trigger, your fire rate increases by 4%. The recoil, you know, goes a little bit down, and the firearm attack is plus 6% every 0.5 seconds up to 10 stacks, right? So that's really, really nice. What ends up happening is all of the fire rate decrease comes right back about, you know, a fourth of the way through the magazine, but then you also get those boosts to, you know, the recoil and the firearm attack, as opposed to just waiting for the last maybe 20 rounds of a magazine for this to be fully spun up. I found that in testing, this just killed bosses, I would say, a lot more consistently. So between the two, I'm going to recommend Sharp Precision. But if you are on Glay specifically, I would say Mental Focus is definitely acceptable as well. Now, for our last two mods. Fire rate up. Again, we're just trying to bring that fire rate up. So 25%, you know, this brings it down, but we get it all back because it stacks up to 10. So it ends up being 40% fire rate when this is maxed out, plus the other 25 here. This is just really, really nice because then the gun fires really, really quickly. It gets through those 171 rounds very fast. Last up here, we have Insight Focus. I was actually doing a bit of testing with this before I had Edging Shot on, which also a good option, but I'm going to talk about why I've switched. So, Insight Focus is a firearm critical hit rate and critical hit damage boost. It's 14.5% for the rate, 6.5% for the damage. Edging Shot is a lot nicer for the firearm crit rate, right? Yes, we have a high crit damage multiplier, so we want a high crit rate. 30% booster there. Yes, Edging Shot could be better, but I kept finding that because of that minus 15% firearm attack, it felt a little more inconsistent, honestly. Just that negative 15% to firearm attack was more noticeable than just taking the drop in crit rate, right? Because here we also get a crit damage boost, even if it's small, it's a little bit. We're taking a bit of a hit to the crit rate here, but I find that it's worth it just to keep that firearm attack as high as possible. This leads to more consistencies for killing bosses, especially solo. Next here we have our mobbing build. The mobbing build, as you're going to be able to tell here, is pretty similar to our bossing build. We have one or two major differences, and the big one here is just going to be Sweeping Squad over Sharp Precision. So Sweeping Squad is really good for mobbing because of this. When defeating an enemy, your firearm attack is plus 10.6% for 5 seconds at X percentage chance. Right now, because this mod is not fully leveled up, it's only a 62% chance for me. I need to throw another catalyst in there because this is a newer build that I'm still working on for mobbing. I've mainly always used this weapon for bossing, but the main difference here, and we're going to throw a screenshot on the side just so you can see, when it's maxed out, you just have a 100% chance for this mod to activate, which is really, really nice, right? Because that means anytime you kill an enemy, your firearm attack just gets a boost of 10.6% for 5 seconds, all right? This basically means you always just have a bonus 10% firearm attack whenever you kill a single enemy at 100% rate when it's maxed out. So really, really useful. Otherwise, as you can tell, this build is going to be mostly the same, but just to discuss it here again, it's rifle and reinforcement and action and reaction to boost our firearm attack. Better insight is the crit rate. Better concentration is the crit damage. We're trying to boost both of these. It is a critical hit weapon. Then we have concentration priority, so this really boosts the crit damage. Yes, again, as we spoke about before, the reload time modifier does take a fairly large hit. That's why we use something like expand weapon charge. If we have a larger magazine rounds, then it doesn't matter as much when you have to reload just because you're not reloading as often, right? This gets another like 20 some rounds just for putting this mod on. So very useful. Fire enhancement, again, because of this weapon's unique ability, fire enhancement just adds a fire attack equal to 30%. That's why we want to keep the firearm attack as high as possible. Fire rate up, same thing here because it's such a large drum magazine of 171 rounds. We're trying to get all of those shots out as fast as possible. All right, especially still with mobbing, you don't want to have to just let it spin up. You want to have a good fire rate. Insight focus again because crit rate and crit damage. And then as we spoke about before, Sweeping Squad. So really quick here, I want to touch base on one more thing before we show off some testing over in the testing facility. The two big things here are going to be character selection, right? I say two because there's two characters that I really recommend when it comes to Enduring Legacy. My two recommendations here are going to be Glay and Valby with the ultimate forms if you have them, because the ultimate forms are just a little bit better. So first here, we're going to talk about Glay. Glay is really good when it comes to a gun like Enduring Legacy because she has an ability called Increased Sensory. This, while you're in your frenzied state, which is your first attack here, right? We combine it with the third. This gives you infinite ammo for X amount of time. The way you keep this going is if you have a reactor with cooldown and duration. Having one with both is going to be the most ideal, but even just one is really nice. Increased sensory when it's active just gives you infinite ammo. And when it runs out, obviously it'll start burning ammo. The reason this is nice is because you can really easily flip back and forth between having infinite ammo and just such a large magazine with Enduring Legacy. You know, it has 171 rounds. You have infinite ammo while this is active, but if your health gets low, you're not really in any danger of being stuck reloading. You can really just keep that damage up. That's really, really nice. The other big thing here is, again, we have to get into frenzied state. So right here, I'm showing you a thing called Predator Instinct, and this is going to be something we go more in depth with my ultimate Glay build coming here very soon. So definitely check that out. But Predator Instinct is a Transcendent mod that while you are frenzied, your firearm attack just gradually increases when shooting it, right? When shooting any gun. This is really, really nice, right? The other build here that I want to show off is just going to be for Valby, as I said. Valby, for the reason of, let's see here, let's get to her red mod. This right here. So as we talked about more in depth in my ultimate Valby build guide, you know, you can check that out as well. We're going to be using a mod called Supply Moisture. While on water, and all of your attacks generate water, obviously. It increases your firearm critical hit rate, skill crit rate, all these things. The two main things we're looking for in here are the increase to the firearm crit rate and the skill, not skill duration, the firearm attribute trigger rate, right? So the crit rate and the attribute rate. Crit rate's just really nice because since Enduring Legacy is already a gun focusing on critical hit rate and damage, this just boosts it. That's what we're looking for. And then as far as the firearm attribute trigger rate goes, this is really nice because this helps boost up the unique ability. We're trying to get quenching to happen more often, and on hitting an enemy, it increases the status effect trigger rate, right? That combines with Supply Moisture, leading to just more damage and craftsmanship being up more. So those are going to be the two character suggestions that I have for you if you're going with Enduring Legacy. Obviously, use whatever you're comfortable with, but if I had to pick a couple, especially for bossing, those are going to be my two recommendations. Last thing we're going to show off here today is going to be a little bit of the testing facility, right? For Enduring Legacy, I'm going to try and get you some more accurate damage numbers, which we'll try to throw up on screen, as well as how the mobbing build works, right? So for Glay, we're going to start by activating this, and then even though we, you know, could use the infinite ammo, it's not needed here. So we're going for trying to figure out numbers here, right? As you see, quenching is always applying. We're gonna get a few different numbers in there, but we're seeing as high up to 356 right now. Now, the big one here we're gonna try and see is if we max out this, right? Let's see if we can max that out and see what our numbers get over to. So we're gonna activate that just to help me out a little bit here. We're gonna see these numbers gradually increase, right? Especially for all of the crits. We're seeing ones in there in the 400s. There was a 467 in there. So it really starts to cap out quickly, right? A 484, all of those. Again, we're going to throw up those numbers on screen just to give you a more accurate description. So the other big one here we're going to check out is the mobbing build. Here we have our mobbing build now for Enduring Legacy. Again, the big one is Sweeping Squad. The thing we're looking at here is now we need to be able to kill an enemy and just see that firearm attack increase, right? So we're going to kill one enemy, and then we see the firearm attack gradually increase here into 240, 266, 425. You can really see it start to stack up with every enemy killed, right? Again, very great mod. You want to obviously try to max it out just because it changes it from a 62% chance like I have right here, just to a 100% chance. So this always activates every time you kill an enemy. It boosts your firearm attack, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Alrighty, so the last thing I want to mention today is right now, as you saw some of those numbers, especially for bossing, they're going up and up, right? This is one due to all of the mods in Enduring Legacy, but there is another mod with Glay. So we're going to turn that off here, right? That was just her frenzied mode because it does have a Transcendent mod that will boost your firearm attack further. This is why I stated Glay and Valby are going to be some of your best choices. In our next video, or a video coming soon at least, you will see our ultimate Glay build. It's going to be a lot of fun to dig into, but I just want to show off what the numbers can still look like here, even without it, right? we're seeing numbers go very high. Even without having that mod on, we're seeing mid 200s. Nothing too difficult in there, right? We see 240, and again, we'll throw all these numbers up on screen. The goal here is just to kind of show you representation of what happens when you pair a gun that's already really good at damage, especially with bossing, with characters that can really maximize that potential for duration of DPS, right? Especially with the increases that DPS can give. So yeah, I do want to thank everyone for watching today. Hopefully this build was really fun. We have a few more weapon build videos coming soon, so look forward to those. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.